Thank you for being here for the white coat ceremony of the class of 2026. It's all getting very real now. Affectionately known as the new red semester. So welcome everybody. My name is Sean Callinan and I'm the Dean here at Ross University School of Veterinary Medicine. I want to welcome family members that are here in person. You will have to come back down again because you will have to collect those animals that your loved ones have gathered over the next number of semesters. And also, I'm sure you will arrive down here in the winter in the US, but that's for a different reason. So none of it will be out of love. It'll be for purpose, okay? I also want to welcome everybody that's online watching the ceremony today. I do hope you do get a chance to come to this beautiful island. And at some stage over the next 2.something years, 2.25 years, that your family members will be here studying veterinary medicine before they return to the States for their clinical year. So white coat ceremony, and I'll get into the detail of the white coat later on. This is a traditional ceremony that would normally have been kept. It was common in medicine and became common in veterinary medicine. It would have normally been kept to signify the time when a student goes from extreme levels of learning the sciences basically to applying them within the clinic. And we know the curriculum has changed significantly. So we know right now that while we call our program a preclinical one, we know it's one of clinical integration. And so very quickly, over the next few months, you will be in scenarios that mimic veterinary medicine. You may be also involved with client-owned animals. You will be involved in significant areas of communication. And therefore, there is the need to produce the white coat now, because the white coat symbolizes professionalism. The one thing I'll say is that, many of you have taken an undergraduate program. This professional program will in no way resemble an undergraduate program. So it's important to remember that. If you think it's going to be a subtle variation and you can slide your way through the program, it's not going to happen. But at the same time, I want to say that we have significant supports here. We have many different supports for you, but the onus is on you to avail of them. And that's quite important. We cannot carry you to a certain person to resolve certain issues. It's really quite important. And this is part of your career, your professionalism, because in 3 years and 3 months, you will be making the decisions that influence another family. A family with small animals that are part of the family, a family with large farm animals that are part of their livelihood and their welfare. And so it's really quite important that you actually start making those decisions and being involved in them first by making sure you take decisions about yourself. And again, we'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. There's faculty members here and there's members of our Adtalem organization, which is the parent company of Ross University School of Veterinary Medicine, both online and present here today. And it's just to signify that everybody at Adtalem and everybody at Ross University School of Veterinary Medicine is here for one purpose. We are educators, and we are educating veterinarians, medical doctors, nurses, social workers, psychologists in many different areas across the US and across the Caribbean. And that is our sole and major focus. We do research, but we're not a research-intensive university. We're an educational-based university. And you will find that it's almost like a 24/7 immersion here, because the island is relatively small and beautiful. But, you're all here as a group. You will meet your fellow classmates from the higher up semesters. You will be involved in a number of clubs that reach out into the community. So quite often it's impossible to get away from some form of veterinary medicine. So just remember that it's a 24/7 immersion. So you have a wonderful chance to learn as much as possible. So remember that. Now, we want to show you a few things today. One is we want to show you somebody who is in the middle of the program, who was in those seats not too long ago. She is the future Dr. Victoria Young, but she also has the task of being president of your government association. And Victoria will give you a few words of wisdom from her perspective. So I invite you up, Victoria.
Good evening. I'd like to start by saying congratulations. You are now a Ross student of veterinary medicine. Take a moment to process that all of the hard work you have put into school, shadowing, working, and packing has led you here to make your dream a reality. But don't get too comfortable in that moment because you're not done just yet. When I first arrived on island, I was scared and nervous. I had moved away from home before, but this was a huge step for me. I couldn't just drive home for a weekend when I wanted to. I was leaving friends, family, and fur babies back home, and I was starting school again after 2 years of not taking any classes. I'm also terrible at directions and knowing how to get places, so being in a place where I couldn't just type an address into my GPS scared me. It was way more terrifying than I ever could have imagined. But after only a couple weeks here, I started to feel at home. I made friends with the people in my orientation group, and we got through this adjustment together. We studied together, went to the grocery store together, and even went out to dinner together multiple times. The friendships that I have made in those hard times are the ones that I know will last forever. It also helped me to get involved in clubs. I found something that interested me and decided to jump headfirst, even though I was nervous about it. Now you see me here, giving you a speech, and being happy to do it, even though I used to avoid public speaking at all costs. Sometimes it's leaving our comfort zones that really allows us to grow. This ceremony marks the first step into the next chapter of your life, one that is going to be filled with lots of learning, studying, hardships, perseverance, new friendships, and hopefully a little bit of fun mixed in. I encourage you all to work hard and focus on your studying, along with finding time to enjoy this island that you now call home. Take time to see all of the beauty it has to offer and the experience it provides you. All while not forgetting that learning is the reason you are here and what is going to propel you closer to the end of this chapter. The end is the best part, the part where we walk across the stage, receive a diploma with our name plus a few extra very important letters at the end, DVM. Once more, welcome to Ross, and I look forward to working with you as we all get closer to walking across that commencement stage.
Thank you, Victoria. So now imagine if we could find one of the first graduates from here. I mean, that's like trying to find Santa Claus, isn't it? He's probably about 120 or 125. But in actual fact, we have a graduate of the first class. He's selling his youth products at the back afterwards because he still looks exceptionally young. I would like to introduce to you Dr. Mickey Axelband. And his bio is in your program. But a few things about Mickey. He is part of our Alumni Action Council, and he's been a significant advocate for Ross for many years. He is a practice owner. He's owned a number of practices over his 35 years plus in veterinary medicine. But at the moment, he's currently practice owner of small animal practice South Broward Animal Hospital in Fort Lauderdale in Florida. And he is also Chief Medical Officer of PromoVet, which is a provider of discounted pharmaceuticals to veterinary practices, including many that are owned by Ross alumni. So I won't give more details, but just passed it over to Mickey for many of his stories, presumably about Ross.
Thank you, Dean Callanan, members of the faculty, staff, parents, guests, and most importantly, you, the students of the Red Class of 2026. It's a tremendous honor to be here and celebrate your white coat ceremony with you, as this is a special occasion for me because back in the old days, we did not get to have a white coat ceremony. So I'm kind of sharing this as part of my white coat ceremony with you guys today. Back when I started, the dean was just a young boy in Ireland, and some of my colleagues on the stage weren't even born yet. So think about how long ago that was. But when I look out at all of you, the class of 2026, it's amazing to see how this university has grown. My class we started with 11 people in our class and we ended up with 9. So obviously it's great to see these class sizes and how this university has grown. In fact, most of you probably don't realize that this school started on a different island. When Dr. Ross started this school in 1983, the school was actually about 4 islands south of here in Dominica. And we shared a campus with the medical school. And so there was one building for the medical school, there was one building for the veterinary school, and there was another freezer building where we did our anatomy labs and the medical school had their cadavers. So it was pretty interesting to go study your anatomy class and have an embalmed human body sitting next to you. Then during break, actually right before we had Christmas break, the dean at the time came in and said, hey, if anybody's going home for Christmas, when you book your return ticket, book it to St. Kitts because we're moving the school over Christmas holiday. And this pretty surprised everybody. And so one of the regrets that I had was that I did go home because the students that stayed got to spend 4 days on a barging the school over from Dominica to St. Kitts. And they said that was quite an adventure. And I'm actually sorry I missed out on that. Obviously, the campus here, when we got here, there wasn't much here. There were 2 small buildings, which I guess are now up where the administrative offices are up on the hill, and that was it. We did our large animal surgeries on a little cement pad outside. We didn't even have air conditioning at the beginning of school. They had ceiling fans, and then eventually they got a window air conditioner, which, for us was like hitting the jackpot. Biggest thing was food. You guys have all these restaurants. You've got Rams everywhere. We had one Rams store that was in Bird Rock, and every Thursday the ship would come in and there would be these little boxes of chicken parts. I still remember they were in red boxes, and they would deliver about 10 or 15 of these boxes every week. And all the students would run down to Rams and fight. It looked like, Black Friday trying to find a toy. Everybody was grabbing for chicken parts because that's all there was. So you guys are having a very different experience here. I think my car is still probably being driven by one of you guys, still here. But now you've got an amazing campus. You've got, dormitories, the student center, the gym, great places to eat. There were no hotels. There were no restaurants. There was nothing to do. We had to study, and then we went to the beach, and that was about it. The biggest change, unfortunately, the biggest change that didn't happen was Basse-Terre looks almost exactly alike as it did 40 years ago. But the big changes that they did in 2018 put in stoplights. And just as a bit of trivia, St. Kitts was the last country in the Western Hemisphere to get stoplights. So next time you guys play trivia, look out for that. The only country still in the world is Bhutan that still doesn't have stoplights, that's up in the Himalayas. So keep that in mind. But, all of you guys came here to St. Kitts and to Ross because you're having a slightly non-traditional learning experience. And understand that for the next 3 years, this is going to be a marathon. Don't look at it as, oh man, I've got 3 years left to go. Break it down into smaller parts. I made it through another day. I made it through another week. You'll be amazed how fast the time goes. There are days you're going to wake up and you're going to feel like you don't belong here, or you're going to get homesick for your friends, your family, your pets. You do belong here, and you all need to just keep that in mind, that you're here for a reason, is to get the ultimate prize, which is your veterinary degree. Everybody here can do this. So whenever you have a bad day, just get up and think about, it's just a bad day. The next day will be better, and just keep on plodding along, going again for that ultimate prize. You're on a beautiful island. You're going to have great experiences, especially with your classmates together. You guys are going to live an incredible next couple of years on this island, and you're going to have stories to tell, 40 years later. hopefully some of you will be back at, White Coat 40 years from now, telling the stories like I am to you guys. Anybody, once we give you the White Coat ceremony, you're stuck here for 7 semesters. So I'm going back to Miami tomorrow. If anybody wants to chicken out, last chance. Some of you, chose Ross University as a first choice. And some of you maybe tried to get into school in the States and didn't get it and picked this as a second choice. But I can tell you this is a first-rate university with first-rate teachers and first-rate people that want to see you succeed. So regardless of whatever you think, this is where you belong. This is the best university in North America, if not the world. This is about perseverance. Again, you're going to have bad days. It's a marathon. Just keep going. All you need to do is get to the end point. Regardless of what you want to do in life, you can do amazing things once you have your veterinary degree. So keep that in mind. I'm going to, you've probably all heard stories from your parents or grandparents, how they, walk through the snow barefoot to get to school, 5 miles, even the ones that lived in Florida where there's no snow, they told you the same story. So I'm going to give you a little bit of my version of the story. So back in the 1970s, not the 1870s, as the dean sometimes think I came from, but I wanted to go to veterinary school. And back then, I lived in New York, and you could only apply back then to the school if your state had a veterinary school. So for me, it was Cornell. You were not allowed to apply anywhere else. And so back in the 70s, obviously, Ross University did not exist. So what people did if they didn't get into school, and I was not the best student undergraduate-wise, and I knew I was never getting into Cornell, people went overseas. And where did they go? So in the early 70s, people went to the Philippines. And then in the late 70s, which was my time, people went to Italy. And so I decided if I wanted to be a veterinarian, my options were pick up and go to Italy and learn another language. And school was taught in Italian. So I went over to Italy and I learned Italian and I started going to school there. And then I happened to come home for Christmas holidays one year, and I opened up the paper and there was a big ad that said, new veterinary school starting in the Caribbean, English curriculum, American style school. We will transfer credits from overseas. So I went down, I lived in New York at the time, and Ross's office was in the Empire State Building. So I went down and got an interview, and they told me to go back and finish some classes in Italy, and then I could transfer into the 3rd year of Ross. At that time, it wasn't the accelerated program. It was a 4-year program, like a traditional school where you had 2 semesters a year, and it was 4 years. You did your last year as clinicals. So I did that, came back. There was no 5th semester to transfer into, so I had to wait a year until the school caught up to me. So they gave me the option of repeating the 2nd year or sitting out a year, which I did and worked and saved some money to go to Ross. So when I got back and I transferred into Ross again, we were in Dominica, and then all of a sudden the school was magically appeared in St. Kitts. But the big challenge we had was, we were a new school. So when we went off to clinicals or we went anywhere, and everybody was like, oh, you're those guys from that new Caribbean school that nobody ever heard of. And we had to prove ourselves, especially at, the first couple of clinical years as we, went through clinicals and had to show everybody that Ross students were as good, if not better, than the students that were at the schools that we were sent to. And it wound up that we were so far ahead of the students that we were put in with. And I was sent to Guelph, which is the Ontario Veterinary College. We were so far ahead of the Guelph students that we set, a good impression, and the students behind me did the same. And so for the next couple of years, Ross students set a great name for themselves. So you guys don't have to deal with the stigma of going to, what they call now an offshore school, especially now also that the school's now accredited, makes life a lot easier. It was not back then. But let's talk to the future. In a little over 3 years, you guys, again, are going to get the ultimate prize as a veterinary degree. And, most of you probably have an idea in general right now of what you want to do with your veterinary career. And I can tell you that probably 30 or 40% of you, by the time you graduate, will have changed your mind. And another bunch of you, 10 years after you graduate, will be doing something completely different than you anticipated as you sit here today. I always knew I wanted to be a small animal veterinarian, and I wanted to own my own practice, which I did getting, right after school. Due to circumstances, 2 years out of school, I wound up with the second graduate of the school, another classmate of mine. We wound up owning 3 veterinary hospitals in South Florida. We didn't look for those. We planned on opening one, and opportunities fell in our lap. I've had a varied career. I've been a consultant for pharmaceutical companies. I've done some TV work. I'm medical officer for a pharmaceutical company. I didn't seek out any of those opportunities. Those opportunities came to me. And it's up to you when those opportunities are offered to you to take a look, and don't be so closed-minded and say, hey, I'm only going to do this with my career. Every day is a new opportunity. And especially now with the way technology is, you can almost create a job. If you can think of it and it's related to veterinary medicine, once you have your degree, you can almost make your own job and make your own career. So, again, as you pursue your veterinary education, keep on plugging. I didn't have this in school, but I did this shortly after I graduated. I had a little sign and I taped it to my bathroom mirror. So I would see it first thing in the morning, last thing before I went to sleep, and it said, failure is not an option. And I wish I had that through veterinary school, but I had it up until a couple of years ago. And every time I moved, I either peeled it off or at some point it got so bad I made a new one. But every day I would look at that and say, failure is not an option, no matter what you do in life, whether it's getting through veterinary school or your first job or anything. Look at it as failure is not an option. But find a phrase. You don't need to use that phrase. You need to find your own phrase and put it up where you'll see it every day, wherever that is. And just remind yourself that you can do this and that you will be successful. So in closing, I want you guys to make your parents proud, make your friends and family proud, make your school proud, and most of all, make yourselves proud. I'll see you all at graduation in 3.5 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Axelband. So we're moving on in the ceremony, and I just first of all want to thank you for being here and allowing us to share your journey. You've started now on your journey to become a veterinarian. I also want to acknowledge that not everyone here will be crazy full of enthusiasm. Some of you may still be homesick. You literally have just arrived. Some of you have discovered there's no Starbucks on the island. And there'll be other things that you've discovered. Just give it a little bit of time. I mean, what they say is you need to find your tribe. You need to find your group that will make this work. You may not be with your right group yet, and that's important to remember too. The history here, as Dr. Axelband will have alluded to, is we're 40 years in existence. But more importantly, we have over 6,000 alumni. And most of those alumni are practicing in the US, which means that 1 in 20 veterinarian you will come across in the US is from Ross. And that's a bigger slice of the cake than you will find from any other veterinary school. So once you qualify, you will never be alone in practices. You will come across Rossies who will talk about their unique experiences, which you will also have here over time. So just remember that. You also have faculty from many corners of the world. You have a very diverse faculty who are all experienced educators and who want to be here to educate. And again, they are a source and a fountain of knowledge. Make sure to reach out to them. If I was to give you any advice today, is what happens is people derail, and everybody can derail. But it's important to keep your eye on the ball. And what I mean by that is you're wanting to get your DVM degree. You're now wanting to rescue every single animal right now that's on the island, okay? And sadly as well, you will not be there 100% of time for your family. And we do know families lean on people, but it's important to remember why you are here. You are here to get your DVM degree. And I don't want to use the word selfish, but in reality, you got to get selfish and you got to focus on what you are needing right now, because you're 1,000 times more value after you have your DVM degree to society, to your family, to everybody else. Keeping your eye on the ball is also important about who you hang around with. We hear a lot about anxiety. There's real anxiety out there. There's real depression out there. But also there's a level of anxiety that if you don't have it, someone else tries to make you extremely anxious. So again, pick your tribe carefully, pick your group carefully. If you're not someone who can deal with anxiety, not a good idea to be hanging around with a bunch of people who are anxious. Try and find and focus what you need to do. It's really, really important. And the other thing that's really important is avail of what we have here. I know you get a data dump during orientation, but if I can summarize it for you, we have counseling centers, we have other modalities to reach counselors, we have a success center. Remember how you got through undergrad may not be the same way you need to get through a professional program. Also remember, please, if you had accommodations before and have been trying to kind of keep that away from us, don't. Get your accommodations sorted out as soon as possible. You may not have all the documentation here, but need to start the process. This is the last time in the world you should drop your accommodations. So please remember that. I also need you to balance your work with your social life. It's important to have a social life. It's important to have downtime. It's important to hang around people and enjoy the experience. But it's got to be a balance. We have things in place because, you know, I remember when I started veterinary medicine, I couldn't gauge myself in the class. Okay, I was very good in my own high school where I was before that, but I had no idea where I might sit in this class. I didn't want to be at the top, but I certainly didn't want to be at the bottom. And so we have tests, we have weekly tests that will kick in a few weeks' time that are very important for you because you'll start working out if things are not clicking correctly. Don't be despondent about that. It's a real kick for you to find out your mojo, to find out how to work, how to get through things. And please reach out to the relevant people that exist for that. Be prudent in your spending. This is for the parents and the family. You're given some of you are given an access to significant loans. Please do not function like a professional right now, so you have to function like a student in 3 years' time because you've spent so much money. Just be careful, balance it. There will be classes, there are people available to help you budget. Please remember all of those things, but some spending seems beyond crazy when I see the spending that some people do. So we're not asking you not to spend anything, but just try and be prudent about that. And finally, and what this is all about and what the White Coat is about is professionalism. And how does that work? Well, I'll give you examples of how it doesn't work. As you now hit social media, be extremely careful about what you say under the guise that you're a future veterinarian. Be careful how you speak about your colleagues in class, because respect is a core for what you need to know. Respect is important for your faculty and the colleagues that are here, and respect is important for everybody. I say this like, oh, it's a surprise and it's ghastly that that should ever happen. It happens with every single semester. It's important to be professional. And so when you put on the white coat today, we expect you to take a different stance. We expect you to act professional. We'll hold you account if you don't. But there's so many different ways you need to act professional. You need to act professional for yourself. In other words, you need to turn up. You need to attend everything that's available to you. When you go to sit an examination, you need to feel you've put in the work that suggests that you should pass that examination. If you're working with your colleagues and you may not like them, you need to respect them. If you're working with faculty you may not like, you still need to respect them. And this is something that's not tolerable if you're going to become a professional. So putting on this white coat is about you, and it's also about how people may perceive you. Perceive you in the context of someone that they can trust in when an animal is in your care, or someone they can trust in for advice that comes from the fact you have knowledge to give that advice, not from hearsay that you heard from somebody else. So as you come on stage and put on that coat, and we'll have an oath later on, and I do encourage you, the oath is on the back of the program, that Mickey talked about sticking something up in the mirror. I would say you put this oath on the mirror, And you look at it when the days are good, but you also look at it when the days are bad, because there's a lot of guidance within the oath that can actually help you. So with that, I would like to pass you over to our Assistant Dean for Diversity, Equity and Inclusion. And also she happens to teach the most important subject in the world, pathology. So there's my bias. And that's Dr. Maria Jose Navarrete Taloni. Thank you.
Hello, hello. All right, so adjusting this. Hello, how is everyone doing today? All good? I'm wearing red, so proud red, right? So again, it is a pleasure for me to be reading your names. I practiced a lot, but feel free to reach out to me if I make any mistakes. But I am honored because I'm reading your names, not just for you, but also for the members of your family that are here today with you, that are online, and for the ones that maybe didn't connect, but you are thinking of. So it is a great pleasure for me. So all members of the class will be recognized today. So please do not proceed into the stage if your name is not called. So wait till your turn is already ready. So it is very important for us that we, move forward and don't make, like a long line. So what you will be making is that you are going to come into the stage and you are going to place your arms in a position that is going to be explained to you. And then Dr. Kiel is going to help you to wear the coat, all right? So you are already aware. So Dr. Axel Brand and Dr. Kiel will help you to get, assistance for getting the coat. So are you ready? Should we start? Perfect. So let's do this. So, Mary Alandi. Jason Amsterdam. Brianna Anderson. Sydney Anderson. Milton Banks. Marucha Bengoa Feliciano. Hannah Sorry Bickham. Victoria Billick. Alicia Burelli. Zoe Brewer. Mariana Caban Rodríguez. Megan Burmy. It's coming. Brika Carter. Nina Chan. Ikran Chowdhury. Marisa Cleary. Shai Cohen. Mary Cox. Colleen Cross. Catherine Marie Crozier. Megan Cunnerty. Christian Dejan. Lourdes Delgado Ruiz. Patricia Descodido. Shannon Donlon. Manuel Duboc. Hannah Duffy. Kyla Durham. Nicole Ann Dyer. Kimberly Eccles. Alexis Egan. Amber Ennis. Jessica Fan. Logan Forrest. Margot Forty. Catherine Gunn. Eric Garcia. Erika Garcia. Andrea Isabel García Guerríos. McKenna Gassman. Caitlin Gonzalez. Diana Gonzalez. How is everyone doing? All good? Alive? There you go. Pamela Gonzalez. Samantha Goodwin. Ormond Grice. John Gross. Alexandra Hackett. Alexandra Echtman. Alexandra Helfer. Okay. Alain Hernandez. Aubrey Hildebrand. Aliyah Hildreth. Haley Hitson. Christian Holtz. Taylor Hafstadler. Emily Hunt. Claire Iliescu. Tyler Wayne Ingram. Jennifer Iturralde. Brianna Jimenez. Hannah Johnson. Sarah Johnson. William Johnston. Ronais Jonas. Abby Jorsey. Nicole Josephich. Jacob Kaipor. Sarah Keith. Destiny Keaton. Timothy Jeremiah Kitts. Gloria Kosova. Lovina Kwong. Courtney Lemodo. Samuel Lasserson. Jessica Lestarchik Williams. Michael Liguori. Tatiana Linares Cardona. Chloe Link. Tyler Bjorn Loaiza. Gabriela Loaces. Cassidy Mahoney. Kathleen Martinez Santana. William McGraw. Larkin McDaniel, Karen McCain, Kenza Lee Mdari Alawi, Migdalia Medina Quiñones, Lauren Meredith, Sierra Michelle, Isabella Minicapilli, Holly Montgomery, Grace Moran, Shanice Morrison, Adriana Muñoz, Kennedy Nevicosi, Shannon O'Brien, Paige O'Gorman, Keegan Olson, Ellie Oravitz, Tasha Ostrovsky, Vienna Oswald, Sean Parker, Jennifer Perdue, Ismael Pérez Cordero, Ashley Peel, Courtney Piercy, Christian Pino, Jairunisa Paulette, Diane Polevarchik, Mariah Pounders. Ikas Qureshi. Tomás Ramírez Caro. Tamara Ranepura. Ricardo Rivera. Lilia Rodríguez. Adriana Rodríguez Mora. Gabriela Angélica Rosado Matei. Jessica Rubert. Yuri Rupert. Connie Salazar. Elizabeth Sales Cooper. Nashley Sánchez Vera. Alexandra Schnatterly. Amber Nicole Scotty. Alexandra Safarian. Rachel Lynn Senft. Elise Sayarto. Geeta Anjali Sharma. Sherry Go Shui Hui. Katerina Silver. Tori Simfenderfer. Daniel Smith. Teresa Smith. Luvish Sondi. Jonah Stamper. Stephanie Stukvish. Lindsay Ellen Stutman. Victoria Summers. Erica Sweet. Shaila Terrio. Elizabeth Thomas. Sierra Nicole Dishno. Liz Shairi Torres. Timothy Uderbach. Alexandra Valencia Garcia. Carly Van Ostendorp. Rashi Vijay. Catherine Waters. Kelsey Waxter. Elizabeth White. Emily Dorima. Ashley Young. Ariana Zapata. And Regan Sutel. So give yourselves a big, clap. Look around. Look around. You all look gorgeous. Congratulations.
Wonderful, and I want to thank Maria Jose for her expert delivery of names, because the next time those names have to be called out expertly like that, it's placement ceremony, and then in the blink of the eye, it's graduation. So this is not a long period of time. It may feel like it right now, but these things happen pretty quickly. So we're going to move on to the veterinary student oath. And, you know, we say things every so often and we believe them. But I really want you to seriously take this oath into consideration and live by it and remember it. It's really important for you as a professional and for the school that you're representing, no matter where you are, Miami Airport, Ohio State, wherever you're going to be going to. You need to remember that you're representing the veterinary profession and also Ross School. So I'd like you all to stand, class of 2026, please. So just to remind you, the oath signifies ethical responsibility to your patients, your school, and your community. And it stresses the commitment to continuous processes of professional improvement of yourselves, your fellow classmates, and to the profession of veterinary medicine. Now, I ask you to repeat the oath after me. You do not have to use an Irish accent. Just in your own accent will suffice. At the time of being admitted to Ross University School of Veterinary Medicine, I solemnly pledge to consecrate my life to the service of both animals and humanity. I will give to my teachers, staff, and classmates the respect and gratitude that is their due. I will conduct myself at all times with conscious dignity and integrity. I will always provide comfort and compassion to teaching and client animals left in my care. I will maintain the honor and noble traditions of the veterinary medical profession. I will not allow consideration of religion, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, politics, or social standing to preclude productive and constructive relationships with my instructors, staff, classmates, or clients. I will never use my veterinary knowledge contrary to the laws of humanity. I make these promises sincerely, freely, and upon my honor. Please join me in congratulating the class of 2026. You may just sit down again for just a couple of minutes. So, as you know, and we've mentioned it already, this ceremony only marks the beginning of your veterinary education and closes basically the weeks of orientation that you've just had. To commemorate your entry to the profession, Ross Vet Alumni Relations has provided a welcome gift, which is on your seats. I can see it there. I'm suspecting it's a tumbler that's in there. And we have a representative here, Dr. Eric Peterson, who will teach you in 5th, 6th, 7th semester. He's up there at the back. He is our Assistant Dean of Alumni Relations. And as I mentioned to you already, Dr. Axel Band is one of the members of the Alumni Action Council as well. So we have a few alumni around here today. And they will be available and often reaching out to you, and they'll certainly be important to you as you transition into veterinary practice. At this point as well, I would like to thank many team members that have been helpful today. I know some of our students have helped in orientating you to get on the stage, and thanks everybody, nobody fell over. I didn't see a single mosquito bite, which actually scared me that none of you got bitten by mosquitoes yet. Maybe you're just constantly working so hard that they don't get to see you. And Regine Jenkins has been instrumental in this, and Aisha Webster, and you've probably met a lot of these before, and many of the student experience team. I want to thank Melissa Keel, who will probably be dreaming of putting on white coats all night tonight. And and I want to thank, obviously, Victoria for her words of wisdom, and Victoria will be someone you will be hearing a lot from, and keep in touch with your student body, your government body. And also, finally, I want to thank Mickey Axelband, or Dr. Axelband, for making it here. And if you need some help off the stage, I can help you off the stage. And when you go outside, in the Students' Union, there will be a reception, and we decided not to have it outside because the weather was being a bit funny to us today. But again, I want to just thank you all for being here, and that concludes our ceremony. Thank you.
Oh, I believe that. I'm down there for a bigger audience. I know. Not for a minute.